Hey, what's up everybody? Jesse here, Southern Reels Fishing, and in this short video we're going to do a lower unit gear oil change on my Suzuki 250 SS outboard that I have here. It's a 2019 model. I did an oil filter in the past, and I just never got around to actually doing a video about the gear oil. So today we're doing it. Show you what we're using. I am actually switching to AMSOIL. They actually have a marine gear oil that I was able to get. I am a dealer for AMSOIL, so I can actually get this product about the same price as the Suzuki oil. Other than that, we have the new gaskets that we'll use here, just 2 of those, and also to make it easier for us, a gear oil pump that actually threads into the bottom drain hole to reverse fill it, basically. That way there's no air bubbles in it. That's pretty much the basics that make this pretty easy. So let's get set up and drain some oil out of this thing. Alrighty, so I already have a drain pan down here and a bigger tray to catch any spill that the pan misses, because this can sometimes get a little messy. I'm doing a bunch of other work to my motor as well, spring maintenance. That really doesn't have any effect on what we're doing down here. Well, basically the fill hole is right here on the side, and the drain hole is right there underneath. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So I'll go ahead and start on the bottom one first, and I just use a really big flat blade screwdriver, the biggest one I got. Slip it up in there, and you can usually break these loose by hand. If not, I just take an adjustable wrench and stick it on the flat part and do it that way. And we're just gonna go ahead and drop this one first. Let the oil start coming out. Definitely want to try to do this in warm weather. You don't want to be trying to do this when it's cold, because this stuff will take forever to drain out unless you absolutely have to. And to be honest, it doesn't hurt to hook it on the water hose, warm the engine up, and actually just drop it in gear and let it sit there and spin at idle to circulate everything, to kind of get it all stirred up. It really helps drain all of the contaminants out, but I didn't have time to do that today. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this top plug. That's definitely gonna speed up the draining when I pop this one out. Yep. So while that's draining, we'll go clean up these plugs. Watch out for my power pole when I stand up. Think about knock me out before. All right, so back over here on the table. And just take a rag, clean the plugs up real good. Look at them really good. There's nothing on the magnet, so that's a good sign. So they're not getting too much wear. Sometimes you literally gotta thread these old washers off. I've found they get on there really good. So I'm gonna grab a hold of it with a set of pliers like so, and just spin the plug out of it. Or maybe I'll do it vice versa. Grab the plug. Yeah, that works better. Spin the old washer off, set that one down. We'll do the same thing on this one. Spin the daggum things off. Come on. All right. Yep, there we go. Then we'll take a rag, just clean them up real good. That one looks good. Make sure the magnet's clear. Yep. All right, that's all good. Then we'll just take a new one. Kind of do the same process and thread it on. Careful not to damage it in any way. All right, that one's ready. I always keep a bunch of these. I'll order like 10 at a time. That way I'm good for a while. Same thing with the drain washers for the oil. All right, those are cleaned up and ready to go back in. Done with those. Going to make sure we throw these away. Don't ever reuse the washers. That's key. We'll go ahead and get the oil staged up and ready here. It takes a little over a quart. What this thing does is it threads down in here like so. It's nice because the cap actually fits this bottle. So that is ready to go. So we just got to wait for it to finish draining, which could take a while. All right, hey folks, it's actually the next day at this point. My wife had some other plans for me yesterday afternoon, so I'm picking up where I was. Pretty much had the fluid sitting there draining out, which it is definitely done at this point since it's been overnight. And I have the 2 plugs with new gaskets ready to go, and the pump set up basically in the bottle of gear oil right here. This pump is actually kind of crucial to this operation because it fills it from the bottom drain hole, and the fluid goes up through the gear case, forcing the air out, because it is very easy to get trapped air in there if you do it from the top fill plug. So we're going to get this down there and get it hooked up and start forcing some fluid into this thing. So just kind of scoop this pan to the side, and what it's got is this little threaded piece here that you thread up into the drain hole. That can be a little aggravating and easy to cross thread, so you kind of want to make sure that you're going in straight with it. And I like to kind of just hold the hose and spin it inside the hose. I'm trying to get it lined up. A little tricky getting it to thread in there. There we go. Yeah, that's good enough. If it drips a little bit, it's not a deal killer. And then at this point, you just start pumping this and forcing the fluid up into it. Try not to go too fast with it, because you don't want to introduce a bunch of air into the fluid. Just pump it nice and easy, steady. And pretty much it's going to take this whole quart and a little bit of another one. That's pretty much it. We'll kind of just speed up through this process. Another way of doing this would be to just have the rubber hose hooked to a nipple for like a bottle of gear oil, and just hold it upside down up high and squeeze, and just force the fluid in that way would work. If you don't have one of these pumps, if you don't have the screw thread thing here, a lot of times you can just get a piece of hose the right size and kind of thread it into the hole, and that will still work, although it'll be a little bit slower because of the, the inside of the hose will be smaller. But it's always better to fill it from the bottom like this, because it really does help make sure there's no trapped air in the gear case. Because the last thing you want is to not have the right amount of oil in here. Now the pickup tube is all the way down in the bottom of this bottle, but I am watching the level, and I'm going to stop before it picks up a bunch of air, actually runs out, and switch bottles. That way I'm not introducing a lot of air into the system. All right, so like I said, I stopped just short of it running out and picking up a lot of air, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch bottles now to the other one. I'll save this bottle to actually put the tube in so it can drain. I like to do this pretty quick. It's still going to pick up some air, unfortunately, but at least it's helping reduce it. Actually, it did really good that time. And basically, we're just going to keep doing this until we see some oil come out of the top fill plug. Should be seeing some fluid here soon. About a quart in it already. There it goes. All right. All right, so as soon as I see some fluid, I actually like to go ahead and overfill it some. Let that run, and I'll go ahead and just stick that top plug in temporarily. Snug it. All right, so now I'm going to take this out. This is where it gets a little messy. And have my screwdriver and plug ready. Go ahead and thread that bottom plug in and tighten it up. All right, that's tight. And then I'll go back up to the top and take that plug out and just let it chill for a while. I'll take this tube here and stick it in the other bottle that I had, and it'll just pretty much sit like this in the cabinet until I'm ready to do my next oil change. So I'll be able to use the rest of this one, and I'll have to buy another one, of course. So that's pretty much just how I store it in the cabinet. And we're just going to let it sit here for a while and make sure that all of the air is out of the system, and give it 30 minutes or so. And then I'm going to come back with a little squeeze bottle with some of this fluid in it and just top it back off real quick. And that's pretty much it. Put the plugs in. All right, y'all, we're back here now. It has been probably about 30 minutes. I've been doing other stuff to the boat, and we're just going to finish this gear oil off. I basically just have some of the fluid that I put in a little squeeze bottle. These things come in handy for quite a few things in the shop. And I'm just going to, I also made sure that the motor was perfectly level, which is kind of important. And I'm just going to ease this in here, slowly inject fluid in there, top it back off. there we go. She is full. So at this point, I'm going to just take the plug and thread her in. Snug that up. Alrighty. One of the other things that I find interesting about this is nowhere in the manual, owner's manual, service manual, anywhere that I can find does it mention any type of torque or anything on these screws, how much you should tighten them, honestly. They're very thin screws, but also kind of critical that they don't come out or leak. So basically what I've always done is just kind of go hand tight with a big screwdriver and just kind of stop there. You know, don't crank down like ridiculous on it, but you know, 2 hands, good and tight, and just leave it be at that. And so far I've never had any problems. You definitely don't want to put any type of wrench or anything on this, because it would be very easy to just pop one of these in half, because like I said, they're pretty thin. But yeah. All right, y'all, that's pretty much it for the gear oil change. Only thing different this time is I've switched over to the AMSOIL synthetic since my warranty's out on the engine, and I like AMSOIL products. I'm a dealer with them, so I get them pretty much at the same price as the conventional Suzuki oils, and it's definitely a better oil. I do change mine every time I change my engine oil. Suzuki says every 200 hours. I mean, if I'm working on the motor changing the oil, we might as well change it as well. It can't hurt the way I look at it. So that's it. Hope I helped in some way. Thanks for watching. Peace out.